We're now ready in the ring for those first classes. Those first classes we're now ready. So we need Border Leicester, White Division, Early Ram Lambs in ring 1. We need Southdown, Senior Ram Lambs, Southdown Senior Ram Lambs into the ring 3 and 4 down on the south end. And we're ready for the Hampshire show to begin as well. We need fitted Senior Ram Lambs into the ring number 2. Ready for those 3 classes in the ring now, please, so we can get started. We have in ring 1 is Dave Smith of Earl Park, Indiana. Dave is a farmer. He has a grain and livestock operation. He runs 300 brood ewes. He has a feeder operation and direct marketing. David has been on the Columbia board and was at Purdue as part of the Purdue University judging team. University. In ring number 2, we have Mark Johnson. Mark and his wife Amy and their daughter Emily operate A&M Ranch, which is established in 1979, a Southdown flock. They live in Sandwich, Illinois. Mark is a graduate of Oklahoma State University and Joliet Junior College. He is a livestock and equine specialist for Purina Animal Nutrition. His clients are in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Mark and Amy work as consultants and custom fitters as well. Mark is also the national ambassador for Honor Show Chow Feeds. In that capacity, he provides technical information to the nutritionist and educational programming for the sales staff and customers. Mark has judged breeding sheep and market lamb shows from California to Massachusetts, including 16 different North American shows. And in our larger ring, the ring 3-4 combination, judging Southdowns this morning is Matt Scramlin of Holly, Michigan. Matt is the co-owner of Scramlin Southdowns. He also farms 600 acres of horse hay for Scramlin Farms. They have owned sheep for 35 years, and they've been showing and selling all over the country with several different breeds. He's judged the All-American Junior Show, the Northeast Youth Show, the Big E, and National Suffolk Junior Show, among many other shows. Let's welcome all our judges this morning to the North American Junior Sheep Show.
In this first white border Leicester Ram Lamb class, we've got a ram here that's just got a lot of spring to his rib. He's got a lot of body working for him, good thickness down his top, good deep top, pretty level through his hip, pretty decent sort of a fleece on him, good breed character, a good representative for the breed to win this first class today.
We're now ready in the ring for those first classes. Those first classes were now ready. So we need Border Leicester White Division Early Ram Lambs in ring 1. We need Southdown Senior Ram Lambs, Southdown Senior Ram Lambs into the ring 3 and 4 down on the south end. And we're ready for the Hampshire show to begin as well. We need fitted Senior Ram Lambs into the ring number 2. Ready for those 3 classes in the ring now, please, so we can get started. We have in ring 1 is Dave Smith of Earl Park, Indiana. Dave is a farmer. He has a grain and livestock operation. He runs 300 brood ewes. He has a feeder operation and direct marketing. David has been on the Columbia board and was at Purdue as part of the Purdue University judging team. University. In ring number 2, we have Mark Johnson. Mark and his wife Amy and their daughter Emily operate A&M Ranch, which is established in 1979, a Southdown flock. They live in Sandwich, Illinois. Mark is a graduate of Oklahoma State University and Joliet Junior College. He is a livestock and equine specialist for Purina Animal Nutrition. His clients are in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Mark and Amy work as consultants and custom fitters as well. Mark is also the national ambassador for Honor Show Chow Feeds. In that capacity, he provides technical information to the nutritionist and educational programming for the sales staff and customers. Mark has judged breeding sheep and market lamb shows from California to Massachusetts, including 16 different North American shows. And in our larger ring, the ring 3-4 combination, judging Southdowns this morning is Matt Scramlin of Holly, Michigan. Matt is the co-owner of Scramlin Southdowns. He also farms 600 acres of horse hay for Scramlin Farms. They have owned sheep for 35 years, and they've been showing and selling all over the country with several different breeds. He's judged the All-American Junior Show, the Northeast Youth Show, the Big E, and National Suffolk Junior Show, among many other shows. Let's welcome all our judges this morning to the North American Junior Sheep Show.
In this first white border Leicester Ram Lamb class, we've got a ram here that's just got a lot of spring-disc rib. He's got a lot of body working for him, good thickness down his top, good deep top, pretty level through his hip, pretty decent sort of a fleece on him, good breed character, a good representative for the breed to win this first class today.
Now ready for Border Leicester. White Division Late Ram Lambs. White Division Late Ram Lambs placing on the early Ram Lamb class for the Border Leicesters. First place goes to entry number 2, H. Barkley, 15091. Heidi Barkley, Man's Choice, Pennsylvania. Our Hampshire show today is the National Junior Hampshire Show as well.
Certainly a pleasure to have you out here this morning and evaluate your Hampshire sheep here at the North American Junior Show. I think we've got a nice class to start our show here this morning. 4 rams that certainly bring some useful pieces to the table. As I evaluate him, I think the first place buck's probably one of the sounder bucks on his feet and legs. He's got good bone on him, like the breed type on him. Where he kind of excels the group in my mind is the way he's designed out over his hip. He's a little higher docked, a little more blowed apart at his pins. Certainly handles with some length aside. Ram in second, probably a ram that handles with a notch more thickness down his top, and I do value that in this lineup quite a bit. However, I'd like to pull him apart at his hocks just a little bit relative to our class winner. A larger framed, longer sided ram here in third. I like that extra dimension of growth he brings to this table. However, I'd like to make him just a little more blowed apart, give him a little bit more thickness relative to the 2 bucks we have right above him. The ram that rounds out the class of 4 is a ram that has some thickness, but I need to stouten him up in his bone work just a little bit today.
There is a red Dodge pickup truck, Illinois plate 4497XW, in the parking lot to the west that has its lights on.
Well, good morning, and let me start by saying what an honor and privilege it is to come out here once again and work with the junior exhibitors at the North American, and for me personally to be here with the South Downs this morning. I know we're going to have a great day. We're going to have a long one, but we're going to see some pretty amazing animals come through this side of the ring. Starting out in our senior ram lambs, just a really easy class winner. When we start this class, in my mind, a ram that's really complete in his structure. He's really stout and true about all 4 of them legs standing on all 4 corners. He's carrying a lot of muscle over that top. He's not the biggest frame ram in this class, but I think he's adequate in his frame size. If I could, I want to really drop him. He wants to get up in that loin, especially when you get him out on the walk, but I think just his overall power, this ram takes this class pretty easy. We come back with our ram here in second. Is that notch bigger at the shoulder, but he's a ram that's really good and extended about that front end. He lays in smooth about that shoulder, really long in his overall makeup. He's a little bit more muscle down the bottom part of that leg to get over that ram ahead of him, but I think a very good example. Really flashy kind of ram here in third, a ram that's just giving up too much as we talk about that rack shape over the top, that muscle down into that lower part of that leg to get ahead of those 2 rams, but I think a ram that's got some eye appeal and some grow look into him as he continues to move forward. A really complete kind of ram here in fourth, a ram I just think in my mind gives up too much of that size and scale of those rams ahead of him, but when you talk about a ram that's really square, carrying a lot of muscle into him, we appreciate him for that. And then a really big-bodied ram here to round out the class. Ram just gets too coarse about that front end, not laying in it quite as true on those rear legs as the rams ahead of him, but with a ram with a lot of rib shape and a lot of quality all the way through. Good class of senior rams. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Class number 2, January
Placing on the Hampshire Fitted Senior Ram Lamb class, first to entry 1, Quam 4111, Beaumont, Whiteheath, Illinois. Second to entry 3, Meyer 1507, Trevor Torrance, Good Hope, Illinois. Third to entry 2, Christian Tift, Spirit Lake, Iowa. 4 to entry 4, Hayden Meeks, Halls, Tennessee. Placing on the Southdown Senior Ram Lamb class, first goes to entry 2, Icon, Morgan and Preston Forsey, Owenton, Kentucky. Second to entry 4, Lesh 0807, Andrew Lesh, Pepino, Illinois. Third to entry 5, Mackenzie Paget, Kirkland, Indiana. 4 to entry 8, Nick Fowler, Salesville, Ohio. 5 to entry 3, Taylor Young, Bell Buckle, Tennessee.
In this next class of white Border Leicester Ram Lambs, we've got a ram here that I really do appreciate in terms of straightness, correctness, the way he ties together all together. He's very straight down his top. Very good breed character about his head, just a very attractive individual, very eye-catching individual, just has a touch more extension working for him throughout. He's very good off his feet and legs, tends to stand pretty square, not quite as free as stride as what I got in that second individual, but I think, again, just a good, solid sound overall, good, complete kind of a sheep, good enough to go ahead and run him up here to the top. The ram in second follows him actually pretty closely, a ram that's got maybe just a touch more spring to his rib. Doesn't have quite the extension overall, pretty decent headed. He's not quite as classic as what I might consider that first individual, but again, two very good individuals up on the top. Third ram, just a nice sort of a ram, got a lot of balance working for him. Just doesn't quite grab you in any way particular like I'd find on these top two individuals. The fourth ram, just not quite as sound all the way through as what I have right up here on the top end.
Now ready in the Border Leicester ring to show for Grand and Reserve Grand Champion White Division Border Leicester Ram. So we'll need the first place out of that Class 1 and first and second out of the class that just finished. Speaking of that class, placings on the late Ram Lamb class. First place to entry 4, Vincent Farms, 1524, Paige Vincent, Laurel, Delaware. Second to entry 5, C. Deacon, 2016, Colin Deacon, Cuba, Illinois. Third to entry 6, Paige Vincent, Laurel, Delaware. And 4 to entry 7, Aiden Thomas, Bowling Green, Ohio. Again, now showing for Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Ram in the white division for the Border Leicesters. Your next class will be early yearling ewes. Pardon me, it's just yearling ewes on the white Border Leicesters. That whole class is together. For the Border Leicesters in the white division, our champion ram and reserve champion ram both came from the late Ram Lamb class. Champion goes to entry number 4, Vincent Farms, 1524, Paige Vincent, Laurel, Delaware. Reserve champion to entry number 5, C. Deacon, 2016, Colin Deacon, Cuba, Illinois. Now ready for yearling ewes, White Division yearling ewes for the Border Leicesters.
Another nice group of Hampshire Rams as we continue on in this age division. I think the ram that starts the class is probably the most powerful ram in the class from a muscle perspective. As you handle him down his top, he's got more natural thickness down his top, really straighter and stronger down his top than the majority of the rams we have out here. Handles with a little bit more muscle through that lower leg, a little square out over that dock set. I like the way the ram in second travels just a tick better off those hind legs. He's a little more natural in his stride. I like that about him. He too is a big bone, good breed character sheep. Wants to get just a little lazier in his top relative to the ram that we're starting our class with today. We do have a ram that's a little straighter down his spine in third. I like that about this sheep. He too tracks around the ring pretty decently, but where he separates himself from the rams in first and second, he's naturally a little narrower through the center portion of his body cavity. Doesn't have quite the thickness and squareness out over that dock set as we have as the two immediately ahead of him. A ram family very similar to this sheep in fourth. Again, a very long-sided, very extended ram, probably going to be a pretty big booger when it's all said and done. I just like to blow him apart a little, give him a little bit more rib and dimension through that center portion of his body. A ram next in line does have that. He's a thicker made ram, a good breed charactered ram. I like this sheep in many ways. Just got to pick him up on those front pasterns a little today.
Placing on the class of fitted January Ram Lambs for the Hampshires. First place to entry 6, Livermore, 56615, Jennifer Livermore, Media, Illinois. Second to entry 9, Sullivan, 1502, Jenna Sullivan, Modus, Connecticut. Third to entry 8, Brady Bobbendreyer, Pipestone, Minnesota. 4 to entry 5, Elaine Dorn, Arada, Wisconsin.
We're moving our
5 to entry 11, Miranda Hunter, Newark, Delaware. Sorry.
That's all right, Dave. As we come into our Southtown second class of Southtown Rams, a really good set all the way down through. Understand that as we move down through this class, there's Rams down here that have a real good place in this industry, in my mind. Two really complete Rams to start this class in my mind as we view them out here today from the side especially. They're really long body. They're really extended up through that front end. They're standing on a really big foot. It comes down, I'm going to use our first place Ram. I think he's just a notch wider as we view him from behind, carrying that muscle through that twist a little deeper, really big-footed Ram. If I could, I'd maybe make him just a notch longer when you get your hands on him as we talk about loin length, but I think that takes away from what is a really good, powerful Ram. Once again, our Ram here in second, I think follows along very similarly. Might be a notch longer, more extended up through that front end. He just wants to narrow just a little more as we get back into that rump, but very nitpicky on what's an exceptional Ram in his own right. Ram here in third follows along very similarly, kind of a greener appearing Ram as we view him from behind. He wants to hock in just a touch as compared to those two Rams ahead of him. Not quite as much bulge in the center part of that leg as those two Rams ahead of him, but an exceptional Ram in his own right. Come back a really powerful rib Ram here in fourth. Ram just wants to break behind those shoulders just a touch. I'd like to change that set in his hock just a little bit as compared to those three Rams ahead of him. We talk about a really bold, powerful Ram. This is that kind of Ram. And then we move into the biggest, most powerful Ram as we talk about that rib shape and then this Ram in fifth. He just wants to run downhill for me too much today, getting quite a bit coarser about that front end, but a really good Ram, really good class all the way through. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Placing on the class of January Ram Lambs for the South Downs. First place goes to entry 18, Stoneworks, shown by Morgan and Preston Forsey, Owenton, Kentucky. Second to entry number 25, McCalla 1505, Carson Knettle of Greenfield, Illinois. Third to entry number 16, Callie Varick, Juneau, Wisconsin. 4 to 20, J. Lee Oldenburg, Mulhall, Oklahoma. 5 to entry 17, Caroline Kuhn, Manila, Indiana.
In this class of white border Leicester ewes, we've got the yearling ewe up here on top. She's just a beautiful sheep. She's extremely well balanced, moves out very well. She's got extension up through her front end. She's very feminine. She's got enough meat to enter and you handle down her top. She's cleaner conditioned as anything out here. She's not as over-conditioned as some of the other ewes. A ewe that I think just ties together extremely well. Very good representative for the breed with a beautiful fleece on her. Good handle to it, very even as you go across the side. Ewe in second is the ewe that most closely follows her, carrying a bit more condition. Ewe, though, that does have a good bit of rib in her. She's a pretty easy keeping kind of ewe. Again, not quite as free and easy in her movement, but still has some overall mass, some width, and some balance working for her from end to end. I do appreciate the third ewe, a ewe that she's not quite, again, not quite as sound as what we have right on top, but a ewe that's still fairly long in her stride. I like the extension up to her front end. Very good head on her, very attractive individual. Again, not quite as even a fleece as we go across the side as what I've got right up on the top. Pretty good kind of ewes. You go all the way down to the bottom in this class. Ewes that I think, again, have some utility. They just don't have the overall size, mass, balance, possibly as much bone as what we had right up here on the top end.
Placing on the yearling U class for the Border Leicesters. First place goes to entry number 13, Colin Deacon, 1970. Colin Deacon, Cuba, Illinois. Second place to entry 15, Vincent Farms, 1425, Paige Vincent, Laurel, Delaware. Third place to entry 9, Heidi Barkley, Man's Choice, Pennsylvania. 4 to entry 10, Heidi Barkley. 5 to entry 11, Ben Wamsley, Palmer, Illinois.
Interesting class here in this late junior fitted ram lamb class. I think the ram that wins the class does so rather handily. He pretty well smokes this bunch on his feet and legs. Really good footed, really good boned. I think he handles himself around the ring very, very nicely on the move and handles himself really well when he's set up. Good breed character on this buck. Among the straighter down his spine, a bit better out over his hip. Ram in second, third, and fourth, there's certainly going to be some differences of opinion even in my house on different days. I chose to use a ram in second that probably conducts himself a little more consistently down that top line. I like him on his rear wheels a little better than some of the others out here. I like the way his neck comes out more naturally out of his shoulders. I admire the bone work on the third place buck, probably a stout, a featured ram relative to his frame size as we have within the class. A thicker made ram, I like that about him as well. A little more conventional as makeup, and that's certainly not going to hurt him today, but in terms of future growth, he may not have quite as much. Ram in fourth place is a ram that I really liked when I laid my hands on him at first. For one of the bigger sheep in the class, he handles with more true thickness down that top, and I like that about him. What hurt him is as the class wore on a little bit, he started to get a little cushier on those front pasterns a little bit. Next ram we have in line has more bone than the ram right ahead of him, a really, really long-sided ram. I'd like to pull him apart when we get around behind him just a little bit for within this class.
For our Hampshire show, we're now ready to show for champion and reserve champion Hampshire fitted ram. So we need to keep that first and second out of that February and later class rings in the ring and bring the others in the ring as well.
In this class of white border Leicesters, we're going to start with you. It's just a little more extension up through her front end, a little more classic headed at this point. You, though, that I really do appreciate the overall length she's got. She tends to stand pretty square, got just a touch more bone working for her. The ewe in second is a ewe that a very high volume, very big rib kind of a ewe that moves out very, very well. She's got a long free stride. That's one of the things you can really appreciate about her. She just doesn't have quite enough meat and enough length to go ahead and get around the ewe above her, but still two high quality individuals.
Placing on the fitted February and later born ram lambs for the Hampshires, first place to entry 20, Charland Farms 15-38, Katie Hanson, Woodburn, Oregon. Second place to entry 21, Mum 1553, Bo Mum, Whiteheath, Illinois. Third to entry 19, Jerry Daniels, Agency, Missouri. 4-18, Chelsea Shell, Midland, Ohio. And 5-14, Dylan Klug, Grafton, Wisconsin. For the White Division Border Leicesters, in our early ewe lamb class, first to entry 17, Tiffany Deacon, 15-1985, Heidi Barkley, Man's Choice, Pennsylvania. Second to entry 19, High 506, Drew Thomas, Bowling Green, Ohio. Hampshire exhibitors, your next class will be fitted yearling ewes. Fitted yearling ewes will be the next Hampshire class. For the Border Leicesters White Division, we're currently showing late ewe lambs. Your next class will be Grand and Reserve Grand Champion White Division ewe, and then Best Fleece in the White Show.
Been a pleasing set of fitted rams here so far in our Hampshire division. I think the 6 rams we have look out here have a lot that we look at out here have a lot of commonality about them. There's no mistaking what breed they are. That's going to be important all day long. They've got some bone. That's going to be important all day long. Trying to find the soundest ones we can with some meat and muscle in them. This is a meat breed, and we need to pack as much in that frame as we can. I think we've had some truly elite individuals out here. Certainly been a pleasure to sort through them. Let's give them a nice round of applause. We'll go out and select your champion in reserve.
Our champion fitted ram for the Hampshires goes to entry number 20 out of the fitted February and later class, Charland Farms 15-38, Katie Hanson, Woodburn, Oregon. The reserve came from our fitted January Ram Lamb class, entry 6, Livermore 566-15, Jennifer Livermore, Media, Illinois. Now ready in the Hampshire ring to go into our females. Still in the fitted division, we need fitted yearling ewes. Hampshire fitted yearling ewes, please.
As we move into this next class of Southtown ewe lambs, the quality hasn't dropped off one bit. I think we really, especially in our top 5 up here, and then even the top 10, 15, all the way down through this class, some high quality females. Two moving right up to the top part of the class in my mind. I'm starting with the ewe lamb. I think is just the most complete in her overall makeup. I think she's standing on a really big foot. She walks out really good. She's level about that top. She's really pretty about that front end, and she's still got some youthfulness to her, I think, especially when you get handling on her. I think she's a ewe that's going to go out and continue to have a really bright future as she moves forward. Just a really nice female to start this class. I think ewe lamb in second follows along very similarly in that makeup. Had this ewe lamb winning this class probably in the back of my mind for quite a while. She gets just a little coarser about her condition, a little coarser about that shoulder as compared to that first place ewe, but an overall really good rip out here in second place. Ewe lamb in third is that interesting ewe lamb. She doesn't quite grab your eye immediately, but then as you continue to look at her, you just keep saying there's nothing really wrong with this ewe. She's really long, she's really level, she's good about those feet and legs. She doesn't maybe just tie together in that bottom part of her chest like those two ewes ahead of her. Not quite the amount of muscle right over that top as those two ewes ahead of her, but I think an overall really high quality ewe lamb. I'm really happy to have her sit right here in third. A really kind of eye-appealing ewe here in fourth. Maybe a notch longer about that front end as we get her. You really appreciate her up in that front third. For me, the difficulty becomes when we get her out there on the walk. She really wants to be short-strided as she gets out there on the move. Wants to get a little coarser over that loin junction for me today as compared to those three ewes ahead of her, but a super really high-quality ewe lamb in her own right. As we round out our top 5 here, once again, a really green-appearing ewe lamb. A ewe lamb that's just getting outpowered today by those ewes ahead of her, but I think a ewe lamb that's going to have a really bright future. I think she has some real grow opportunities in her. We really like her for her levelness and design. Just need to put a touch more muscle in her as it relates to those ewes ahead of her. Once again, a really deep, really good class all the way through. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
In this class of Cordell ewe lambs, we've got just a beautiful ewe lamb up here on top. She's very straight about her lines, handles very well down her top. Has got just a very nice fleece on her. It's very even as you go across the side. She's got good breed character about her. I think she just ties together pretty well. She's one of those that you want to get towards the top end. The ewe lamb in second is the ewe that is the most like her in terms of her overall design. Doesn't have quite the thickness and width about her, doesn't move out with quite the width of base, is just a touch narrower through her chest at this particular point in time, but I think as she goes ahead and grows and develops, she's got a lot of parts and pieces that you can surely appreciate to tie into a good big kind of a ewe that should make a very good representative for the Cordell breed. You go into that third and fourth, fifth slot, we've got some ewes here that the third ewe, a ewe that's a little coarser in her makeup, shoulders don't lay in quite so nicely. She's very nice headed, very attractive individual. Not quite as even a fleece as what I felt I had on the two ewes right above her, but a ewe that I think, again, taken as a whole, just a pretty high quality individual that you can surely work in a breeding program. The ewe in fourth, the ewe that follows that overall type and kind of that top end, she just doesn't have quite the evenness of fleece as you get as compared to like the top ewe, the top two ewes at this point. A little more variable that way, but she's got some rib in her, she's got some body and some bone. I think she's going to make you another pretty good kind of a ewe. Ewe in fifth, a little smaller version of these ewes, maybe just a bit more youthful at this particular point in time, but a ewe that, again, she's got some extension, she's going to tie together pretty well, and she has a lot of potential to make a pretty good kind of a brood ewe.
At this time, we need placing on the Cordell Senior Ewe Lamb class, first to 27, Wolf 040, Rachel Painter of Villa, Pennsylvania. Second place to entry number 29, Wolf 041, Caitlin Stillion, Lower City, Ohio. Third to 31, Cody Morris, Lerna, Illinois. 4 to 32, Thomas Fraze, New Salem, North Dakota. 5 to 33, Lee Beth Faulkner, Union City, Tennessee. Placing on the January class of Cordell ewe lambs, first place goes to entry 37, Fraze 501, Thomas Fraze, New Salem, North Dakota. Second place to 35, LRF 1505, Ellen Peters, Versailles, Ohio. 3 to 34, Cody Morris, Lerna, Illinois. 4 to 40, Thomas Fraze, New Salem, North Dakota. And 5 to 38, Abigail Thornton, Amanda, Ohio.
Certainly had a nice Hampshire ram show here earlier today, and looking through the fitted rams and the slick-sheared rams. Certainly a little more differences in this lineup than what we saw on the female side of things. Criteria, while they are the same, just a few more differences in terms of structure and design, so forth, within this lineup. Certainly been a fun opportunity. Again, let's put our hands together one more time and give them a nice round of applause.
For our Hampshire show, our overall grand champion ram went to our champion fitted ram out of the February and later class. Entry number 20, Charland Farms 15-38, Katie Hanson, Woodburn, Oregon. The reserve was our reserve champion fitted, came out of the fitted January class. Entry 6, Livermore 566, Jennifer Livermore, Media, Illinois. Now ready in the Hampshire ring to show best mixed pair. Again, you have to have a ram and ewe in that pair. They can, one be slick, one be fitted. It doesn't matter. They can be lambs. They can be yearlings on the ewes. It does not matter, but it's best mixed sex pair. Placing on the Southdown class of late February ewe lambs. First to entry 288 4C E15150, Morgan and Preston 4C, Owenton, Kentucky. Second to 274 KDK 1516, Kelsey Smearcheck, Richalt, Wisconsin. Third place to entry number 272, Carson Lobdell, Darlington, Wisconsin. 4 to 269, Morgan and Preston 4C, Owenton, Kentucky. And 5 to entry 286, Adriana Winland, Shakopee, Minnesota. and from the North American. Our border Cheviot is a junior Ram Lamb from Cade Speldy. The white border Leicester, a late Ram Lamb from Paige Vincent. The border Leicester colored is a Ram Lamb from Jenna Bilyeu. The Columbia is senior Ram Lamb from Seth Hildenbrandt Bach of Wisconsin. The Corriedale is from Thomas Fries. The white Cotswold from Kinsey Meyer. The colored Cotswold, Alexandra Rogers. The Dorper is a spring Ram Lamb from Jessica Jean Larrick. The Horn Dorset, a winter Ram Lamb, Keegan Paget. The Pole Dorset, a fitted winter Ram from Thomas Van de Winter. The Hampshire, a fitted February and later Ram Lamb from Katie Hanson. The Katahdin is a January Ram Lamb from Matthew Beatty. The White Lincoln is a late Ram Lamb from Taylor Gargis. The Natural Colored Lincoln, a early Ram Lamb from Becca Breckenridge. The Monadale is a February Ram Lamb from Miranda Nelson. The natural colored is from Mitch Schmidt. The Oxford is an early junior Ram Lamb from Ty Miller. The Romney is January Ram Lamb from Ethan Kennedy. The Shetland is a junior Ram Lamb from Joe and Alex Ludlam. The Shropshire, a late junior Ram Lamb from Dalton Payne. The Southdown, a January Ram Lamb from Morgan and Preston Forsey. The Suffolk is from Raisa Zielinski, a fitted early Ram Lamb. And the late spring Ram Lamb Tunis from Avery Spildy. one more time for their work with our juniors at this year's North American. Mark Johnson, Matt Scramlin, Dave Smith, and also we had Tim Fleener. Let's give them a nice round of applause for their work. Thank you.
Well, I guess since I've already pulled the three, we've already destroyed part of our suspense for the evening session here. We have had a very good time and a very enjoyable time going through these sheep, the four of us, over these last 2 days. It's been a very good set of sheep, good set of kids. Really appreciate the effort that's been put forth by everybody to go ahead and put this show together, and the kids that participate and make it all happen and come out here and everybody gets to do their job. And anyhow, we do appreciate that and would encourage a round of applause for all these kids for the effort they put forward over the last 2 days. As the old person of this old. I'm the old person of this group. I'm not sure what that's necessarily good for. However, I did get nominated to come out and discuss these rams a bit. It's a good set of rams all the way through. We all came up with the same general idea that it wasn't necessarily an awe-inspiring group, but it's a good group. Good, solid sheep that could go out and work in a variety of situations, should be able to make an improvement within their breeds. They may not be the next greatest stud, but we think they could go out and be an awfully good stud. They should be able to work in their respective breeds. When we went through, each one of us went through and tried to come up with, okay, what's your top four? And all of us were in agreement that we had these three sheep out here in the middle in our top four. Everybody had a different one for that fourth one, so that tells you the quality is pretty good all the way through. But we really did like this Romney Ram Lamb in terms of being just a good, solid kind of a sheep with a beautiful fleece. He's got enough extension. He ties together extremely well. An attractive package with a beautiful fleece. We like the Hamp Ram as far as just being a good, solid, sound kind of a ram. He moves out pretty well. He stands pretty square. He's got enough bone. He's got enough rib. There's some thickness and some mass. He sticks his head out a barn door. There's no question. He's a Hamp. We really appreciate that about him. We think he makes a pretty good representative for the breed. The Dorset Ram follows that same overall package. We think there's a ram there that's got some thickness. He has enough thickness and enough mass to work in a variety of situations. If you're trying to make some bigger, showier sheep, he's got enough style and balance working for him, a good enough head, a pretty enough overall package to where you can surely use him in a lot of situations. Coming down to one individual, it's very tough, very close placing amongst these three. We're going to choose to use the Hamp tonight.
Supreme Champion Ram goes to the Hampshire Champion, shown by Katie Hanson of Woodburn, Oregon. It's Charland Farms, 1538. Fitted February and later Ram Lamb. Congratulations. Those breed champion ewes should be gathered up down at the end of the show ring. We're going to bring you in just a moment. Going to get a couple more pictures and then bring those breed champion ewes into the ring.